Hello everyone, I'm Dro and welcome back to the third episode of the Redstone tutorial series. Today we're going to talk about logic gates, but before we begin I want you to hop into Minecraft, create a super flat world, and then come back here again. So pause the video and do that now, and I'll see you right back here. Have you done that? Well then, we begin. So to explain what a logic gate is quite hard if you don't see it. So let me show you something. In the last episode we learned that torches are on default, and they turn off when the block underneath them receives power, or the block they are attached to at least. So this is actually our first logic gate. We have an input block, we have an output block, and the logic gate then does something with that. So let me introduce this concept here. We have a truth table, a so-called truth table, and when the input is on, like so, the output is off. So that's why I put a red wool there. When the input is off, then the output is on. So that means we have a green wool here. And since the output does everything that the input doesn't do, or does not do, this is called a NOT gate. Very simple. So just a simple inversion or a simple torch is a NOT gate. Now we can also apply that to just a line of redstone, which is not considered to be a logic gate, but we can do the same concept here. When the input is on, the output is on, and when the input is off, the output is off. But truth tables seem to be a bit boring, don't they? So let's bring that to the next level. Every other gate than the NOT gate has actually two inputs. And behind this wall I have built the most basic logic gate there is. And we have an input A, an input B, and a certain output. And the truth table for that looks a bit frightening, but I'll explain that in a minute, don't worry. So what this gate does is, when we have power on either one of the inputs, then the output is on. When we have power on both of them, the output is on as well. And when we don't have power on either one, then the output is off. So that's called an OR gate, because we can apply power to here, or to both, and that makes the output go on. But how do we read this table now? We have, when A is on, the output is always on. When B is on, the output is always on. And it's only off when B is off and A is off, like in this state right here. But how do we actually build something like that? Well, first of all, we just worry about one input and an output. Let's call that input A and see what happens. When A is on, the output should be on always, regardless of what B is. And when A is off, we need to bring in B somehow. So let's only worry about that first. We have seen something like that already over here. When an input is on, the output is on. And that is just a plain redstone line, right? So let's do that. Let's just put a plain redstone line here. And it works quite good, no? Doesn't it? So now we need to see what is not correct. So we have, when A is on, Let's actually place input B already. So when A is on, it is on. That's correct. So the left row is correct. Now when A is off and B is on, let's turn A off and B on. Let's visualize that with the redstone dust. That should be on. So that is wrong. We need to do something here. And when B is off, the output should be off as well. And that's correct. So the only false state is basically this one. And what we need to do is quite obvious, isn't it? We just place a redstone dot here. And we have our OR gate. Because again, the output is always on when either one of the inputs or both are on. Now, what I want you to do right now is build that, what I've built just here in your world, and then try to build this one, because you see this is just a deviation, because everything that is green on this one is red on this one, and everything that's red here is green there. So that means we just have to invert the output, right? So I want you to build that, and then I'll meet you back here. So if you've done it right, you should have come up with something that looks like this. We have just a connected cable, basically, plus an inversion. And the reason I'm building that in that shape is just because it makes it fit into that space here. The important part is that you have a connected cable and then connect that to a torch and then connect that torch to the output. And what that does now is when none of the inputs are powered, the output is powered. And when I power one of these inputs or both, then the output is unpowered. And what we call that is a NOT OR gate, or short, a NOR gate. Now, uses for the OR gate and the NOR gate are quite simple in your everyday Minecraft life. A button connected to an iron door, because it connects a signal in this block here and then sends it to an output block, right? Without any inversions. Or something like this. This is an example for a NOR gate, because the pistons are extended on default. We need to make a NOR gate here. And in case you're wondering, I get the power from underneath the block, because this block is powered and that powers the redstone underneath as well. And also the reason why this piston is extended is just a property of pistons. It doesn't happen with any other blocks. It just happens with pistons. And we're having another episode about pistons in another video. So coming to our last gate for today. And I say right away, this is not very important to remember. It's just important to get why it does what it does. Because you need that to understand what the AND gate does, that we're going to take a look at next episode. Now, this gate is asymmetric. What I mean by that, I show you in a moment. If input A is unpowered, it just is always on. And if both are powered, it's on as well, but only if input A is powered and B is not powered, the output is off. So in a truth table, that would be this one, which is quite similar to this one, except that the bottom row is swapped. And yes, I want you to build that as well, but first I want to give you a hint, and that is, you can think of it as the output is on if B is on or A is not on. And the language here is very exact. So that means we have a NOT gate and an OR gate. And as I said, when B is on or A is not on. So try to build that and try to build its inversion, and I'll see you after that for one last time this episode. So if you're struggling with this one, then I want to give you another hint, and that is you can also invert one of the inputs before it reaches the OR gate. So try to work with that if you couldn't figure it out, and I'll see you back for the really last time in this episode. So you may have noticed this one is a bit more difficult, so let's go about this systematically. If B is on or A is not on, then the output is on. So we have if B is on, it's just the same thing as in the OR gate, or A is not on. So let's run A into a NOT gate, and it doesn't connect, so we just make it connect. And that is the gate done. Yes, it's really that simple if you know how it works. And this is called an A implies B gate. As I said, this one's not important to remember, and this is also not important. Just forget it if you don't study mathematics or something like that. It's just don't. It's just important to remember why it works. And well, the inversion is just very simple. It's just the same thing with a NOT gate at the end, if you will. Just a torch. That concludes this episode. What I want you to do as a sort of home assignment is the following. Build this gate and this gate. I don't even know if that has a name or not. In a one high space. That means only redstone dust that's lying on the ground. No redstone dust that lies on a block or something. Only blocks that are placed onto the ground, like this, and only redstone torches that are placed onto the block here. And yeah, you can depower the redstone torches like this. And also as a sort of bonus, I don't know if you can do that with your knowledge already, make the OR gates and maybe even these ones in a one wide space. So for example, you can have the, I don't know, the output somewhere like here, so that you have a bit of space to work with. Space doesn't really matter. And somehow connect these in one wide space. A quick reminder, torches can power the block above, and you can also get power from the side then. And redstone repeaters can power the block in front of it, which then gives power to the top, to the bottom, and the side. So please do that, one high and possibly one wide. Tell me how it went, because I have the knowledge, you don't have it, so I don't really know what you are thinking about and what you're not thinking about. And this concludes this episode, so thank you very much for watching. This has been Dro. Please give a like if you find it appropriate, and I'll see you next time.